How's it going, guys? David Hedge here, House Hedge Gaming, and today I'm talking conventions because the convention season is right around the corner, and I have a list of stuff of tips and tricks that I've learned throughout my years of going to conventions and all to help you on your next journey. So matter if it is a concert, if it's a Comic-Con, a Gen Con, an Origins, a Dragon Con, a PAX East, a PAX West, a PAX Prime, an Otakon, no matter what it is, hopefully these tips and tricks will help you out in your future adventure. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, first up, I know this is going to sound like common sense, but you know what? I've seen people do it before and it will happen again. If you are planning on going to an event, make sure you have your badge or event ticket purchased, make sure you have your travel accommodations ready, and your hotel booked. Now, like I said, I know this is common sense, and you know it, and I know what you need to do when you go to an event. But if you wait too long, you can end up having events sell out. So if there's an event you're going to go to, like for me this year, Gen Con, make sure you get your badge ahead of time. Make sure you get it shipped to you. If you don't, you'll have to wait until a will call. And if you do, chances are a will call is going to take a good while to get through. Now, the people at the will call line will definitely be getting you through the line as quick as possible, but it's still going to be a long wait. Be warned. If you are going with a group of friends and you need to get hotel accommodations, make sure you get a hotel that everybody agrees with and divvy up the price accordingly. Now, hotels can be expensive, especially if you're going with downtown hotels. So make sure you plan accordingly. Do you want a hotel downtown? It's going to be a little more expensive, but convenient. Or do you want to stay out of town for a little bit, like a 15, 20-mile radius out of town, but be able to pay cheaper hotel prices and just drive in and drive back out? But then you got to figure out parking. So make sure you have all that figured out before heading to your destination. Finally, if you are traveling by plane, train, or automobile, like everybody is, decide on which mode of transportation is right for you. So for me this year, going to Gen Con, I will be driving. But there is an Amtrak that goes there to Indianapolis. I could have chose that, but unfortunately, it gets up there on Thursday. I need to be there on Wednesday for True Dungeon check-in, so I'm not able to do that. Also, airlines, little bit still on the pricey side, depending on where you go. If you do decide to fly, check out your local airport and the surrounding airports, because I guarantee you some are definitely cheaper than others when you're planning out an airplane trip to a destination. So if you're thinking about flying, check out the other airports and see what the best deal is for you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dave, inflation is a bum, prices of everything's going up, and unfortunately I don't really have the money to go to an event this year. Well, you can do like what I'm doing. I am actually working for True Dungeon this year at Gen Con. Now, if this wouldn't happen, I wouldn't be going. Because you're absolutely right. Hotels and all can be expensive, and with the price of everything anymore, people might not be able to do trips like they would like to. But for conventions, they are always looking for volunteers. And depending on who you go with, they can give you great perks and can cover some of the expenses for that convention you want to go to. So for me with True Dungeon, I will be working as a bag checker from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. So my job will be the following. Excuse me, sir. Since you're about ready to go on an adventure and going into a dungeon, would you like to check in that heavy bag to make sure the monsters don't destroy it? You do? Cool. And just take the bag, set it aside with their name, and then they go through the dungeon. And if they come out alive, you get their bags back to them, and they go on their merry way to enjoy the convention from that point forward. That's what I'll be doing. So I'm working for True Dungeon. And let me put my book down there. With that, I am able to get my badge taken care of, my hotel taken care of. The only thing I need to worry about is my travel up there. And that's it. As far as getting to the event, that's all I need to do. They're taking care of my hotel, which is downtown. They're taking care of my badge. That saves me a lot of money. If I had to front that to go and pay $130 for a badge and then $400 to $500 for my share of a hotel, no way I'd be able to go. But with being able to volunteer, not only do I get all that covered, but I get to introduce myself to the people of True Dungeon. And maybe next year I might be able to be involved in more ways than just a bag checker. Who knows? But if you want to go to a convention but you don't have the financial means to do it, look into volunteering for different companies, because each one has their own different ways of compensating their volunteers. Because they don't want you to just come up there for free and go like, well, you're doing this and just look pretty at the booth, you're good. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to go, hey, you're putting in the hard work, or hey, thank you for helping out at the booth. Here's some compensation for you, whether it be product, whether it be stipends to cover your meals and everything. Each vendor does their own thing. So make sure to just reach out, and if you want to work for one, definitely do so. And I think True Dungeon's still looking for some volunteers if you want to go to Gen Con this year, so definitely check them out. I'll include a link below to volunteer. Okay, so next you have your badge. Got your accommodations taken care of. Now you want to find out what events you would like to do. So a lot of conventions are starting to do wish lists, to where they'll release the event catalog 2 weeks ahead of time, and then after that they'll do a sale date to where you can submit your wish list and start purchasing events. So for Gen Con this year, I have perused the event catalog of what they have so far. And what I'm going to do, I'm trying to shoot for some of the Lorcana TCG demos and the Sorcerer TCG demos. So I got those on my wish list, ready to go. And next Sunday, I'm going to submit it and see what survives the virtual queue. And hopefully I get at least one of each. And if I'm able to do that, that's the main events that I want to check out. But plan out what events you want to play in, or what seminars you want to attend, what panels you want to take part of, and have everything ready to go. If it needs a ticket, purchase those tickets ahead of time, because chances are they're not going to last long, especially when you have an event like Gen Con or Origins or Otakon that have tens of thousands of people that attend the events. Chances are a lot of these things are going to sell out. So you want to make sure you get your tickets ahead of time and plan out your schedule of what you want to do at the convention while you're there. Have a game plan. You still want to give yourself enough time to peruse and see new games that are coming out, because there's a lot of new TCGs that are coming out this year. There's plenty of great board games that are coming out. I'll go over those in a future video. But make sure if there's stuff you want to play in and stuff you want to attend that needs tickets, get those tickets ahead of time. Trust me, you will not regret it. All right, speaking of plans of attack, make sure if it's a convention you are going to that you have attended numerous years. Make sure everything is where it's at from the previous year. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, because every year there are certain changes that will happen in conventions, and you'll need to figure out where your particular thing is. So, for example, every year there are people that go up there for Gen Con for like Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, and they have this gigantic room set aside for those people. There's also a gaming auction that happens every year, and it usually takes place right outside of the convention hall. But this year, they've changed it, and they have moved the live gaming auctions to the Marriott in a smaller room, and now it's a ticketed event. So it's free to enter in, so you can actually peruse the everything that they have for sale, but now it's in a different area that I'm not accustomed to. So I have to keep that in mind. Like if I want to attend TOVA this year for a little bit before going to work on Saturday, I need to make sure to have my ticket ready to go, and I need to make sure I know where it's at. So if you're a returning attendee, make sure the stuff that you usually go to, make sure it's still in the location that you're accustomed to. If not, then you need to find out where that new location is so you can get there in ample time to attend the event. But if you're a new attendee, don't worry about it. You're going to have fun. You'll be discovering everything for the first time, and you don't have to worry about this problem. So if you're a new attendee to a convention, you just skip this part of the video. If not, and you just like to see me act kooky for a second, stay right there. All right, next up, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects in the whole wide world when it comes to travel. Food. That's right, we're talking about food. So, each city offers a very unique culinary experience when it comes to your food. Make sure you check out the different areas of cuisine that your city that you're attending have to offer. For me at Gen Con, there are plenty of food vendors. There are food trucks. There's also the Circle Center Mall. which definitely has a food court, which has a lot of the name brand restaurants there. So what I plan on doing is my plan of attack for Gen Con itself is that I'm going to get gift cards to certain restaurants so I can already have those taken care of for food. So stuff like Subway, PF Chang's, because there's a PF Chang's up there. Hooters is another great one. But you can get gift cards at different restaurants and just have that ready to go. And you can just pick those up on your way the weeks leading into Gen Con. So you don't have to have every bit of your money set aside in one shot then. Just spend like 25 bucks on a gift card and that'll have you set aside for a meal or two. If you go to Subway, it's like 3-4 subs right now. If you go to PF Chang's, that's a good meal for you, and so on and so forth. So do your research of what is there in your city when it comes to food and plan accordingly. Make sure if there's a cool place you want to go to that's a local place that has a lot of really good reviews and good food from like the locals and all, definitely do it. Like check out one of those smaller mom and pop places. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. I haven't been at the different times I've been at Gen Con and just other conventions in general and other just trips. You find a little hole in the wall place, and I guarantee you'll find some really good food there. Now, on the topic of food and water, hydrate, make sure you do so at the convention because you do not want to get yourself sick just because you're wearing yourself down. You don't have the energy that you did when you got there because you're pretty much using up all that energy playing in different games or running from place to place. And if you're not keeping hydrated, you're not keeping fed, you're going to end up wearing down. So in addition to finding out different places to eat at while you're at your destination, make sure you take some snacks with you, like some granola bars, beef jerky, some that's not as sugary. You don't want to get a sugar rush and then you crash later. But make sure you have stuff on you that can help tide you over before you go to your next meal. But make sure you have snacks there, make sure you keep hydrated, and make sure you eat, because I've seen it happen to where people just don't think about that stuff, and then they get worn out to the point to where they just do not enjoy the convention the rest of the time. They'll get themselves sick, or they may end up passing out. You may get absent-minded and forget what's going on, and that's happened more times than I'd like to count. So just do make sure to take care of yourself in that way while you're at the convention, because you're going to have a lot of stuff going on, but you also need to take care of yourself, and that is the number one thing to do. Okay, so the last little bit I want to talk about with you guys is more or less just common courtesy and just making sure everybody has a good time. So this year, a lot of the conventions and the concerts will no longer have COVID protocols. That means no longer requiring masks, no longer requiring vaccination records. This is a sign that we're starting to get back to a realm of normalcy, to where COVID is now just a part of our lives now, and we just have to deal with it, and we have to live with it, and that's fine. The best way you can do it, wash your hands. If you need to sneeze, do it in the crick of your elbow. If you need to dab it, dab it. I don't know why I did that. You will never see me do that again. This will be as close as it's going to be to a dab. Well, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping the video. All right. But make sure you sneeze in the crick of your elbow. Make sure you have hand sanitizer, and just be mindful of others, you know? There's going to be people that still want to wear their masks, and if they do, respect that. I know like years ago when people were choosing if they wanted to wear their masks or not, people were just like shaming others, going like, you shouldn't wear a mask, it ain't going to help. Like, no, let them wear a mask. Like, let them do their thing. Like for me, I wear a mask at work, and it helps me out because one, it helps me from keep getting sick, but also it's great to help against the allergies and the pollen and everything. So that's the reason why I wear a mask. But if you see people wearing a mask at your convention or at your concert, respect their decision and know that they're there to have a good time like you are. And that's what we're all wanting to do. Like at these events, we just want to all have a good time. When it comes to waiting in line, when it comes to getting to your events, when it comes to the staff that you have to interface with throughout the convention and the attendees, be patient and be kind. A lot of us have went through a lot over the past few years. Some of us continue to be going through stuff. And instead of pushing off hate and anger and just being frustrated and all, do yourself a favor and just remember that you are all there for one reason. You are all there to enjoy a convention. You are all there to enjoy a concert. So if you're waiting in line, be patient. When you get to the headline and you're getting your badge or you're getting your ticket, greet them with a smile and let them know, hey, thank you so much for getting us through the line. Thank you for helping us out. And I hope you're having a good day. I promise you, that kind of stuff right there, that kind of acknowledgement goes a long way for people. Like, you could have somebody who's running on E that are going through that line and they're trying to help people get to their events and all. And they're starting to get to that point like, God, it's been 5 hours. This is tiresome. And then they have that one person come up to them and go, hey, I just want to let you know I appreciate what you're doing. And you're rocking it and keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you. That meter goes right up and they are all in. And they are very appreciative of having people do that. Because you get a lot further in life being kind and courteous than you are being an old curmudgeon and being angry. Believe me on that. And that's the one thing I can say is that when you go to the conventions and all, just treat people the way you want to be treated yourself. Like, treat people with respect, treat people with kindness, and just remember that you are all there for one reason. You are all there to enjoy a convention, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to enjoy it, you're going to have a great time, and you're going to like it. No, you all want to be there because you all have the same thing in common. You want to attend a concert, you want to listen to great music, or you want to enjoy this new game, or you're wanting to experience this new adventure together. And do it. Like, that's the reason why I love going to Gen Con, because Gen Con, you go to a convention where it's 60 or 70,000 plus of like your closest friends that you don't get to see maybe once a year. And you all go up there and you experience the best 4 days of gaming. And I promise you, when you go there, you'll never really hear anything of somebody going like, oh, well, like, you don't hear anybody say anything negative about the color of somebody's skin, their sexual orientation, who they are, what they believe in. You don't hear that. And that's the reason why I love going to Gen Con. And I know a lot of other conventions are like that, to where we all have that same common goal of what we want to do, and we all achieve it together, and we just have a blast. And that's all we need to do, and that's all we should do in this world. And that's all we can do when we go to these events. But that's just some of my thoughts for conventions and all in general, what to do to prepare for the events. And if I'm missing something, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be more than glad to include it in the video for next year. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And let everybody know that House Hedge Gaming is here for all of your gaming needs. So until next time, guys, stay safe, take care, and safe travels.